Hey everybody, Ray here. Today we're going to talk about power washing. More specifically, how to power wash a large flat area like a driveway or a patio and do it much more efficiently with this tool I'm going to show you how to use. I'm also going to give some general power washing tips that I've learned, and I'll talk a little bit about the Sun Joe power washer, which is the power washer that I use. If that's of interest to you, stick around. I'm going to show you how to do this better. And don't forget, if you like this video, hit that like button and subscribe. Now the power washer that I use is the Sun Joe power washer. I picked this up at Home Depot. I think it was around $150. It's an electric power washer, 1,800 pounds per square inch or 1,800 PSI. It comes with a soap tank and so forth. I've never used that though. I always just get what I want by just using water. And also it comes with several tips. And the tips go from a real broad spray, and then it gets finer and finer down to this really, really fine spray. What I would tell you to do is experiment with which one of these that you want to use. And be aware that as you start getting down to this really, really fine tip here, it sprays out a BB-like spray of water that could actually put holes in wood. So be very careful. I've typically found the one that I use is this green one right here that I have on my power washer, and it works really well for me. One of my first tips is to wear some old shoes that you don't care about getting dirty and wet, because trust me, when you're power washing, that water is going to splash all over the place and it'll be dirt and mud all over you. Also wear dark and older clothing. If you wear anything white, you're going to destroy it out here as all the dirt hits it while you power wash. I used to do all my power washing using one of those tips like I showed you that came with the Sun Joe. This is probably the most effective one. It's a small enough spray of water that it's got enough power to clean off concrete, but it's not so small that it will destroy things. I'll give you an example of how that works. Now, as you can see, that works pretty well. The problem is you're only doing about 2 inches every time you make a pass. And you have to make sure that you overlap that spray. And even when you do that, what you wind up getting is this sort of striped pattern. So this is a pretty slow way to do a large flat surface like a patio. Now what I've done is to divide this patch of concrete here into 2 sections. I'm going to do the first section with the spray nozzle like I was just showing you. And I'm going to time how long it takes to do that. And then I'm going to come back with another tool that I've got to show you, and I'm going to do this second section here, and I'll time how long that takes. I think you're going to be amazed at the difference. We worked on this section here, and this is about 3 by 4, maybe 3 by 5, and it's pretty nice and clean, but you can see what I mean about these stripes. I call them tiger stripes. It's just not a very even looking surface. So 3 minutes to do just that 3 by 4 or 5 square, probably 3 by 4 square. And so think about an entire patio, it could take quite a bit of time. And if you don't want these stripes here, you're going to have to go over it multiple times and probably even go this way to eliminate those stripes. Now let me show you another tool. Now if you're doing large flat areas like a patio, you are going to love this tool. You wait till you see how much difference there is in the time. Remember that it took me 3 minutes to do that one 3 by 4 square. This is the Ryobi. There are 2 versions of this. This goes up to 2300 PSI, And as I mentioned, my Sun Joe is an 1800 psi. If you're going to use one of these with a power washer that has a motor on it that goes up beyond 23 psi, there's a different unit you need to buy. I got this at Home Depot. I think it was about $40, but trust me, the amount of time that this thing saves you is just incredible. You simply take this and you plug it on to the end of your power washer nozzle, and you're ready to go. And watch how much quicker this thing works. The Ryobi has a spinning head in here, and the water will come out both of these tips, which are angled to get maximum cleaning pressure out of this. So once you get it cranked up, you just slowly move this back and forth. But instead of doing just a 2-inch patch, you wind up doing a 12-inch patch. It's just incredible. Now, you can get a little bit of striping when you use this unit as well. So what I do is when I go back and forth on my first pass, then what I'll do is I'll just turn around and make another pass in this direction here. And if you take it slowly enough, you will eliminate that striping. So, as you can tell, this is significantly faster than the spray head. In about 1 minute, I did a better job than what I did in 3 minutes with the regular spray nozzle. So we cut our time from 3 minutes to do a patch down to 1 minute to do a patch. And if you think about it, I mean, if you look at how smooth the color is here, and then how striped the color is here, if I wanted to get this area here as smooth as this using the regular spray nozzle, it would have taken probably twice as long. So it would be probably, 6 minutes, and if I did a really, really good job down here, maybe 1.5 minutes or so. Now, you can see that this is slightly lighter here where I did with the spray nozzle. It will clean a little bit better than the big disc nozzle from Ryobi. But I'll tell you what, the difference to me is not worth the time. So we're going to do this whole section here, and then I'm going to show you what this section looks like compared to the section next to it. But you can already see, here's where it's clean, here's where it's not clean. Your patio and driveways can get really dirty over time, and every once in a while it just is a good idea to come out and clean them up. Another good tip or hint here is, if you're working on a slope, then what you'll want to try to do is work on the upper part of the slope first. Then let that dirty water work its way down to the lower part. Otherwise, if you do the lower part first and you come up and do the higher part, then the lower part that you did first is getting the dirty water flowing back down on top of it. I'm going to see if I can give you a better idea of how dirty that water is coming off the driveway. You see how dirty that water is coming out around the edges there? This thing is really cleaning up a lot of dirt. And that's why I was telling you that it makes more sense to work from the top part of the slope rather than the bottom part of the slope, so that dirty water doesn't flow down on an area that you've already worked on. Well, you can pretty clearly see the difference between the side that I cleaned on the right and the dirty side on the left. It makes quite a bit of difference to get these things cleaned up. And it's not that hard with that Ryobi attachment that I showed you. It really works well. Now, one thing that I'll usually do is when I'm done cleaning, I'll spray the whole area off with a hose just to make sure that any dirt and residue that was still on there gets sprayed off and it doesn't make it look a little bit dirty again. The other thing that I found is that sometimes you'll have some mold or mildew or something that'll get into that concrete, and it's very difficult to get out of there even with the sprayer because it kind of discolors that concrete. If I run into that, typically what I'll do is I'll make up a mixture of 1 cup bleach to 3 cups water, and I'll spray that on there. You'll be surprised. It's miraculous how that will help clean up any areas where you've got that green mold or moss growing. I highly recommend this Ryobi disc cleaner here. I guess that's what you call it, is a disc cleaner, but it does a really good job and it'll save you an awful lot of time. So if this video was helpful, don't forget, hit that like button, subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next video.